Is Kyrie Irving the biggest swing player in the Western Conference? Can he swing the title the most for any team in the Western Conference? Coming up on today's Locked On.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Welcome to Locked On Mavs. This is one of your co-hosts, Isaac Harris, contributor to Mavs.com, Studio 41 in the corner 3. Guys, today I'm riding solo. Dad's away. Dad's in Mexico. That's Nick. And guys, we could just party today. We can party this week, to be honest. But thanks for listening to the show every day and for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. If you're an audio-only person, you listen in the car on the way to work or in the gym and you want to subscribe, just search Locked On Mavs on your podcast platform of choice. Or if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and leave a comment below. And here's the deal. Leave the comment. Who's the biggest swing player when it comes to the NBA title next year? And I'll talk about how I define swing in a little bit more in a little bit. But basically, who's the guy with the biggest variance that can swing an NBA championship next season the most? Leave that player below. If you want to support the show, you can subscribe on YouTube or you can text us through our subtext. We send out rumors. We send out the latest news, Q&As, and more. You can just click the link in the description to get signed up. All right, today, like I said, Nick is, he's partying up in Mexico. He's with his lovely wife. She's pretty awesome. She's the best half out of the Angstead crew. Probably better at Tears of the Kingdom. Also, I'd probably put my money on her. We just get to hang out this week. If we just don't tell Nick what happens, then we can just have a lot of fun. And I don't know, might have some friends on this week. Probably ride solo like I am today. We got to talk about some Grant Williams podcasts recently. He said some things that are incredible. Got to talk about that. But today's topic is something I've been thinking about over the past, week or so, of who are the players in the league that have the biggest, I'm calling them swing players, but there's probably a better term for that. I mean, people throw out the term X factor all the time. And I don't know. I kind of want to lean away from X factor because everybody has their definition of swing too, but everybody has their definition of what an X factor is. And some people go with like X factor as like Deshaun Stevenson is the X factor. And it's like, I'm thinking of the players in that upper category that can literally swing a title, that could swing a team. I'd probably take a step below because I have one player on this list that is probably a step below this, that their team's probably not a title team, but has the biggest variance of if they're at their best all around, then it puts their team in the title conversation. It puts their team in the conference finals conversation. It puts their team on the list that they can make a finals run. It's also the biggest unknown. Also, there's a variance of, hey, this player could totally flame out this season for multiple reasons, and there's a low and there's a high, but there's also this unknown factor of why I put these players into this group, because you can't predict it. You have no clue what you're going to get. And so, yeah, if you want to call it swing, I'm calling it swing. If you want to call it X factor, a star X factor, you want to say that. But basically, if I know what I'm getting from the star, then I'm not putting them in this list. So there are some players out there like, all right, there are some names. I think the third segment, I'm going to throw out some random names that didn't quite make my list. But I'm like, I can't fully predict what what we're going for there. But so today I want to talk about five players that are the biggest swing players in the league next year. Now, I'm not throwing out a player that plays for the Houston Rockets and be like Cam Whitmore. biggest swing player, one of the biggest swing players in the league. What if he proves he's a top 5 pick? Houston's still not going anywhere. They're still going to suck. So that's my example. And we got to start with the Mavericks owned, because this is obviously where this mindset, where this, I don't want to say conversation makes me sound like I'm like, I don't know, a Start and Split, or the movie is about me. I'm like having combos with myself over here, but it's made me think about that. I'm like, man, what is the variance? How hard it is to predict Kyrie Irving's season next year. But it's like, how hard is it to predict? But also, man, like you could see both sides. You could see ways that this goes down a path that we don't like it. There's also ways that we could see this path going to the mountaintops of, man, like, can he be? Look, let me start off this. Let me start it this way. I'm going to read off a couple of statements that I think can be true. Can Kyrie Irving at his best next season help Luka lead the Mavs to the Western Conference Finals? I'll take it a step further. If Kyrie Irving's at his best next season, can he help Luka lead the Mavericks to the finals? I think he can. If Kyrie Irving's at his best, can Kyrie and Luka be a top 3 duo in the league? I think they can. At his best. What's some other duos you want to throw out there that are like best in the league? Jokic and Murray. Okay. Booker and KD. Okay. Doug McDermott and Wemby. Probably a few spots down. What's the other duos out there? I mean, I'm just throwing them off the top of my head right now. I mean, there's so many duos in the league, Kawhi and PG. Like, we could go all day with duos. Jaylen Brown and, Jason Tatum, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie. But can they be a top 3 duo in the league if Kyrie Irving's at his best next season? Yes, I think they can. Can Kyrie be Luka's best teammate he's ever had? Yeah. Like skill-wise and everything? Yes. But however you feel about Kyrie Irving, the basketball player or the person, reliability hasn't been his forte. So, like, this is the thing this is why, Nico Harrison takes the chance of trading for Kyrie Irving, because all the statements that I just said, because if everything goes right, and if everything hits, and if everything is like we all want it to be next season, then yes, this could be one of the best duos in the entire NBA. But you also can't ignore the other stuff of why it puts him on this list as one of the biggest swing players in the whole Western Conference, or even in the league. Because he hasn't been available on the basketball court for a plethora of reasons. I'm not even going into detail for all the reasons, but we think back to the Kyrie shot in the finals as the pinnacle Kyrie moment, and it should be, right? Like, that was an awesome, huge moment. They end up winning a title. He has a ring. He is an NBA champion. But that shot happened in 2016. This coming playoffs, that will be 8 years since 2016 happened. Kyrie hadn't been to, or Kevin Durant hadn't become a Golden State Warrior. Luka was still in Madrid, and Tony Parker was still the point guard of the San Antonio Spurs whenever that shot happened in 2016. I say that to say it's been a long time since Kyrie hit the shot in the finals that a lot of us still think and play over in our heads. He's since played for Boston Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets. We've talked a lot. I mean, everybody has talked about his tenures at both of those places. He hasn't played in 70 games, in at least 70 games since that 2016-17 season. He's missed over 300 games in his career so far. And we can list the reasons why. A lot of it has been because of injuries. We know the stuff that happened with Brooklyn. There's been a suspension. There's been, time away from the team. You name it, over since 2016-17, over the past 8 seasons, he's missed a ton of time for a lot of different reasons. And that's why reliability is something that you got to throw it out there no matter how much. I mean, I am so excited for this upcoming season and the Mavericks and Luka and Kyrie. I believe in their pairing. I think they'll work. I think it will work to a really successful degree, but you also can't ignore the reliability factor of Kyrie Irving. I want to keep talking about this just for a little bit, and then I want to give you my 4 other players along with Kyrie that I think are the biggest swing players in the NBA next season for the NBA title. But first, let's talk about FanDuel. Let's pull up some FanDuel odds here. MVP for the NBA next season, 2023-2024 24 MVP. Nikola Jokic is at plus 430. Giannis plus 500. Luka at a plus 650. Here's one I'm legitimately eyeing. Okay. I wish they had it Wemby or the Field. I've been on this. I was on this before the draft, before I even went to the Spurs. Somewhere in between the lottery and the draft, I was like, man, where's the odds for this? Because I actually want to bet this of Victor Wembanyama for Rookie of the Year versus the Field. Now, FanDuel doesn't have the Field, but they do have some other players. They have Wemby at a minus 140. After him is Chet at plus 400. And here's the one. I mean, this is just like begging. This is begging for right here. Scoot Henderson plus 460. I'm not going to lie. That's one of the more enticing ones I've seen for a while because I think Scoot's going to have a great season. I think Dame gets traded. I think Wemby is going to be good, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I think Scoot's going to put highlights on. He's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to put up stats and all the stuff. So I would actually do the Scoot Henderson there. Take your first swing at this on FanDuel. Get 10 times your first best bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just $20. You'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. All in an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up today. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel, your official partner of, I'm going to do a plot twist here, Major League Baseball. Let's go. Ooh, who's getting better at this music? Who's getting better at the music, baby? We got back in played over. I bragged too much. Nick got back from his last trip, because I guess when you're big time at Locked On, you just get all these vacations and you can just live it up and go do all these fun things. He was like, dude, your transitions are killing me because you just talk through them as you're like struggling to find the button. I'm like, you know what? Not all of us are professionals like you, Grady Dick wanna be. He's got to be Grady Dick for Halloween next year. Let's talk about Kyrie Irving a little bit more, and then I want to reveal some of my other players for this category. If we think of Kyrie Irving as a roller coaster, the peaks of Kyrie Irving's roller coaster is so dang high. And that's why you take the chance on somebody with the reliability stuff that Kyrie Irving has had. You take the chance because the peak version of Kyrie, he's an 8-time All-Star. He's an NBA champion. And that's why you look at it and you look at it from a Nico perspective and say, all right, Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic worked. Now, JB should still be here. We all know that. But they had the playoff run, right? They beat this Phoenix Suns team. Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic as the duo. There are a lot of reasons why they won that series, but they had a successful playoff run. Went to a Western Conference Finals. There's no reason to look at that and say, man, Kyrie Irving and Luka can be that, except Kyrie Irving has a notch up above Brunson. I would say that Brunson is the more reliable, right? But Kyrie Irving has the higher ceiling. Kyrie Irving has the higher point of the roller coaster where you're like, man, this is so fun. This is insane. This is crazy. Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic have the ability to be a top 3 duo in the league. I don't think Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic had the ability to be a top 3 duo in the league right now. So that's why Kyrie Irving, I think he's one of the biggest swing players when it comes to the title, especially in the Western Conference, but one of the biggest swing players. I think he's one of the 5 biggest swing players for the NBA title next year. That if Kyrie Irving is peak Kyrie Irving, and I know that's a big if, and I know non-Mavs fans, if you're listening to this, you're saying, dude, you're really hoping and you're really betting on a lot if you think Kyrie, you're going to get all this from Kyrie. I hope so, because if he does and all this stuff works out and he's relative injury free, he plays a lot of games, everything is going great, I still think Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented players in the league, and I think him and Luka will work. But there's also a whole lane of this in which it doesn't work because of all the reasons we talk about. Next player on my list, Brad Beal. I think Brad Beal is one of the biggest swing players in the league. Like, where is his head at? This guy has literally one of the biggest contracts in the entire NBA. He has been sucking in Washington, D.C. on these bad teams. Ever since John Wall jumped on the scores table, Brad Beal's just been chilling, riding the bike around D.C. Like, hey, are we ever going to be good again? And a lot of that's it, on him because he chose to stay there. But where's his head at now going to Phoenix? And can he be Chris Bosh? Like, is he willing to be Chris Bosh? Can he get his 3-point percentage up to a respectable level? Can he? I mean, we all saw the report the other day. Is he honestly gonna play point guard? Like, I mean, I just figured Devin Booker was going. I mean, they dumped campaign, which whatever. I feel like at some point they're going to try to go get a point guard out there, but can Brad Beal play point guard? But the biggest thing of all, can Brad Beal play defense? Like, who is going to defend? Devin Booker, I think, is an above average defender. I think he's improved a lot defensively. So I think he's going to get a lot of these assignments. But are you honestly going to ask Devin Booker to chase around Steph Curry or to, guard a Ja Morant and then also be Devin Booker on the offensive end? I don't know. It's a stretch. So I think Brad Beal has something to prove to where I think he's one of the bigger swing players of this entire thing, because I didn't put DeAndre Ayton on this list because I think I know what I'm going to get from him. I don't think there's a big unknown for DeAndre Ayton for me next year. I can just see the role he's going to have right now. He's probably going to be pissed about it, probably going to get traded, but I feel like that's kind of like, you can predict that. I can't predict Brad Beal. I don't know what he's going to be. And so my whole thing is, if Bill's locked in, he can play point, he can defend guards, he can do all of that stuff, then I honestly think they're one of the best teams in the league. And I think we're seeing a showdown in the Western Conference Finals between the Suns and the Nuggets, because the top 4 of those 4 guys on the roster, I think, is pretty dang good. And we all know how annoying the Suns are. But if he's not, and his head's not in the right spot, and he's not willing to be Chris Bosh, and he can't play defense, and he's struggling playing, with the ball in his hands and playmaking and all of that, then I think they trade DeAndre Ayton super dang fast for a point guard. And we're seeing them scramble. What's their record have to be early on for them to be scrambling, trading DeAndre Ayton for pennies? And it's, DeAndre Ayton for any respectable point guard out there who can run an offense. I think that's a very real thing. Next person on my list. I mean, you can't really go down this. And here's the stretch for me, because I think Phoenix has a shot at the title. I'm putting the Mavericks in there because we are locked on Mavericks, your team every day. So if I'm going to put Kyrie in there, I got to put Zion in there. Where can I go with this? How locked in? How strapped in is Zion? Is he, is he locked in? Is he, is he aiming for, the bucket there? Can he penetrate to the basket? He's pretty good at penetrating to the basket whenever he's healthy. And how serious is he taking all of this right now? And we all saw the stretch. We all saw the stretch in which he was healthy last season, how good the Pelicans were, and all of that. But was that a flash in the pan, or is that something that's sustainable long term? What if Zion is the best of his career this year? He's in shape. He's doing his thing. He's not getting all that. If he is all of that, then the Pelicans, I think, can make a deep playoff run. If he's not, then is Zion traded before the deadline? I mean, probably, right? Because the Pelicans don't want to go through. Are the Pelicans going to waste another season? If Zion starts off, he gets hurt, he gets banged up a little bit, or he's out of shape and he doesn't look engaged and all of that, are they going to throw another season away just like waiting on Zion? I don't know why I carried that out so long. Southern accent, baby. Are they going to do that again? I don't think they do. And so I think the best of it, they make a deep playoff run. Zion establishes himself as like the best young player on the Pelicans, which honestly, I don't think he is right now. I think it's Brandon Ingram. If not, I think we're seeing him traded to like Charlotte, by December. Let's take another quick break, and then we got to talk about Kristaps Porzingis. And then I have some other names to throw at y'all, and we can just like bounce around some names if that's cool with y'all. I mean, it's cool with me if it's cool with y'all. Let's take a quick break, then we'll be right back. Let's go. We're back, baby. I guess I should have faded that out, but oh well, y'all get the point. Porzingis is one of the biggest swing players in the league next year for me. I think Boston, if I had to pick 5 teams, like, hey, who are 5 teams that you are the most, I mean, honestly, we could do like 3 teams you're the most excited to see in the first like 2 weeks of the season play basketball. For me, it's Boston. I got to see what this team looks like. You trade Marcus Smart and Grant Williams, and you basically swap it out for Kristaps Porzingis. And I'm not even doing that to like bash Porzingis. It's just a total different style of play. And I think they lose a lot of toughness. I think they lose a lot of reliability on who's going to be playing on the floor and the defense on the perimeter and all that stuff. But now's your time, bro. Like, now that this is Porzingis' moment, like for this is the time for him to have the biggest season of his career, to show everybody that you can be a dominant, a good big on a really, really good team. He went from New York to Dallas to Washington, and now he gets to play for a title contending team. And for him, I'll ask the same question that I did for Brad Beal, but it's a little bit more closer for him because of the roster makeup. Can he be Chris Bosh? Chris Bosh had that, those seasons in Toronto. He goes to Miami. We still talk about that big 3 with LeBron and Wade. And now you kind of have the, like, I don't know, the vegetable version, the green vegetable version of the Heat, like, because you have Tatum and Jaylen Brown, 2 bigger perimeter guys, and now you have this big who can stretch the floor. Nick just texted me. He doesn't even know I'm recording right now. I should like read his text live on the thing, but man, Porzingis, like, how healthy will he be? That's obviously one of the bigger things. Can he bang consistently with the best bigs in the league? That's a big thing. And just how does the style go? Because honestly, this is the one that if Porzingis is at his best, he defends the paint, he's efficient, he buys into the Chris Bosh role, and he's like, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you are the stars of the team. Let me be the big man who can be the third guy and get my shots whenever I can get them and not force it and all this different stuff. If he could do that, I think Boston Celtics are winning the title. Kind of sucks to say, but just because I think they're building there. I think Jason Tatum's really talented. And yeah, if not, honestly, don't know, because they're kind of like bought into this team, or like, I don't think if Porzingis is, mediocre, that they're trading Jaylen Brown. I don't think that's happening. So I don't think that affects Jaylen Brown at all, to be honest. The 5th one is up for grabs on this list. I've listed 4 players: Kyrie, Brad Beal, Zion, and KP. The 5th one's up for grabs. Like, who do y'all want to say? Do you want to say Kawhi? Yeah. Like, I literally wrote Kawhi in my notes, and I'm like, okay, kind of tired of putting him on these lists. Like, is this what he is now, though? Like, he's going to be kind of banged up. He's going to rest here and there. He's going to have moments to where he goes Terminator Kawhi, and he looks awesome. You get him into the playoffs. I mean, he could play 52 games, and then he gets in the playoffs, and he could go supernova and be one of the best. I think his defense is taking a little shot, a little step back, but I just can't put him on this list because I just don't. Honestly, I feel like we kind of know what he is now. Like, this is just who he is. And I mean, watch him prove me wrong, and he plays like, I don't know, 78 games and is an all-star and all this stuff. I feel like those days have been so far long ago. I mean, it was the last time he played a full season when Kyrie hit the shot. Like, I don't know. Like, so I couldn't put him. I don't think I can put him as a 5th player on this. Is it Damian Lillard? Which I don't think there's no way he stays in Portland. If he stays in Portland, then he doesn't belong on the list because Portland will suck. I don't know. They'll be good. I shouldn't say that if he's on Portland next year. But if he goes to Miami, is he on this list? Because how far up the list do you put Miami if Dame goes to Miami and he fits in perfect and he's exactly what they needed. Now they have this big three of Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. I don't know. I don't think he would be my fifth option because I think I'm pretty confident that it'll work, and I feel pretty confident knowing like what I'm getting from Dame. So I don't think I could put him on this list. I don't think there's a world in which Dame goes to Miami and he doesn't play well and it's not great. Is Chris Paul too old to put on this list for two different reasons? Like, is there a world that Chris Paul goes to Golden State and has like an incredible season for them and is exactly what they needed in the bench unit, and it like vaults Golden State back up to the top of the Western Conference as far as like record wise in the regular season? He kind of alternates with Steph and does all this thing. Or is there a world that he plays well enough early on that they could use his contract to trade for somebody else once the season gets going? You know, a more long-term piece and all that. Ultimately, I don't think he is. It's kind of sucks saying, well, he's kind of annoying, but I don't think he's good enough to be on this list at this point in his career. I just think the other guys have a bigger impact on their team. And ultimately, you're probably all yelling at me in the chat, this one name, but it has to be Ja Morant, right? Like, for all the reasons we know that Ja Morant has missed games and all the stuff, he has to be one of the bigger swing players in the league next year. Now, I think the only argument against this is even if Ja's at his best, would you have Memphis as title contenders, or would you have Memphis as conference final? I think you could say conference finals, right? Like, picture a healthy Ja Morant that's fully bought in everything with a Marcus Smart, with Derrick Rose coming off the bench. I know they had Tyus Jones last year, all that. Desmond Bane's still there, Jaren Jackson, all the crew and stuff. So I think Ja would be my fifth answer on this. I'm probably forgetting somebody. Am I forgetting somebody? Let me know in the chat if I'm forgetting somebody. I'm literally pulling up the list a list of the league. The problem is it has to be somebody. Like, I looked at Philly and I said, is Joel Embiid, is there a bigger variance with Joel Embiid than some of these guys? No, I feel like we kind of know what we're getting with Embiid. Same with Denver. Like, everybody, I'm pretty confident knowing what we're getting. Minnesota, it's not even a player that I think is a swing. I don't even know. Like, it's about the players like fitting. I think they could all play the best versions of themselves and still like not be good. I don't know. Like, that team, I just have big concerns about that team. The Lakers, you could give me the argument for Anthony Davis's health. Sure. Yes. I'm just sorry. I'm not going to talk about the Lakers on a solo pod just by myself, looking at a screen, talking about the Lakers and how good they could be if something swings right. So can't do that. All right, guys, that's it. Be back tomorrow. Might have a guest on tomorrow. We'll see. Got some busy stuff happening with work and all of that. But yeah, we'll be back talking basketball. Got to talk Grant Williams at some point. Thinking about doing a Dante Exum pod. We haven't really talked about him a ton, just kind of looking at his life, career, and all of that stuff. But hopefully today was enjoyable. Let me know who your swing player is in the league that has the biggest variance, that can have the lowest of lows or the highest of highs this year and affect the NBA title. And yeah, I'm excited for this season. I think Kyrie and Luka is going to have a monster season together, and I'm excited to see them play basketball. Guys, it's been great. I will be back tomorrow. Peace out. Boom.